Welcome back to another deck profile on the channel. We're taking a look today at the Lucario EX Battle Deck. This is a level 1 deck. Great for beginners, great for completely new players, not intermediate or advanced players. And of course, if you guys want to buy any Pokemon cards at all, check out my friends over at mantatrading.com. I'll leave their link down below. And if you use code SneakerTalkTCG, you're going to save 5% off. They have these decks, the Ampharos decks, and all the other Pokemon cards you're going to want and need. I go there for my local Pokemon card tournaments every Friday. One of the best stores in the world in terms of competitive players. And I love the store. The Ampharos deck was pretty decent. It surprised me, so maybe this deck is going to surprise me too. But I'm going to give you guys a rundown of some of the strategy for this deck, a little summary of each of the cards, and show you guys everything that's here. So first up, let's get to the coin. We have a Jumbo EX coin, and I said this for the Ampharos deck. I'm disappointed. I am, because I wish they just included a cool Lucario coin. Lucario is one of the most popular Pokemon in the trading card game, and just Pokemon universe, so they missed out. They could have had a cool Lucario coin. Instead, you get this boring EX Jumbo coin. Then we got the Lucario EX right here. Look at that shine. There you go. Look at that glimmer. Oh, wow. Wow. That's sick. Lucario EX, a stage 1 Pokemon. 260 HP, fighting type. We got 2 attacks. We got low sweep. And it's 2 energy cost, 1 fighting, 1 colorless for 60, and then Aura Sphere, it says 160 damage, and it does the effect, this attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So you're going to smack the active and also weaken something on the bench, or potentially knock them out if they ran away earlier. One of the major downsides to this Pokemon is its weakness. Its weakness is Psychic, and everybody knows that painful, pesky Mew VMAX running around all the time can easily one-shot Lucario just with such ease. So yeah, fighting Pokemon are not in the greatest shape, but if you're able to, build the right deck, you can make it happen. But Lucario EX doesn't really see too much competitive play. Code card right here, which we're going to we're gonna give it away. We're gonna give this away right now. Actually, we'll pick a winner in 1 week, and all you have to do to enter is hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below telling me your top 3 fighting type Pokemon and if Lucario is on that list. So one lucky person in a week will get this code card, which will give you the exact 60 card deck we're taking a look at today in the online game, which is the best way to learn how to play. You can download Pokemon Trading Card Game live on your phone or on your computer or tablet, and that's going to be the easiest way to learn how to play. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to try learning from a book, they have a quick start rulebook right here they include with all the starter decks, and this is just a really simple way you can learn how to play. Read up on it, shows you the order of operations and whatnot. But if you just jump into the game online, there's like a tutorial. It's way easier. Next up, we have a little packet of cards for new players. These aren't like actual cards. These are kind of just like tip cards, you could say. We got Special Condition Poison to teach you about poison, a guide for confusion as well, a guide for being burned, a guide for asleep and paralyzed, and a little what are special conditions, and a order of operations card of what you can do. So if you're new, you might want to keep this at your side, which is pretty handy. Damage counters, they're all cardboard but with a metallic shiny finish, which is pretty cool. Lore paper, some canon, some storytelling about this deck, or Ampharos' deck right here. But if you flip it around, you got Lucario. So you can go ahead and pause it if you want to read. Massive playmat. So this playmat right here has it's the exact same playmat as the Ampharos deck. So we have this design on one side, and then on the other, you flip it around. It has some markings for where to put certain cards, like your deck, your discard pile, your bench, your active Pokemon. It also has a guide on the top corner here, the exact same guide that's on the small paper we showed you earlier. So this deck right here, oh well, it is different deck box than the Ampharos. Before, oh okay, that's pretty cool. So Ampharos have the yellow and then the electric. Lucario's got the fighting, and then the it looks like dirt for ground type maybe. Take it out of here, take it out of here, take it out of this box, and I'm gonna organize the cards for you guys real quick so it can be nice and concise, because they don't organize the decks when you buy them, which is very, very annoying. I remember someone commented that they like that they don't organize the decks for you, so it's easier to shuffle, but like you should just be shuffling your deck anyways properly. You shouldn't just be taking the cards out of a deck box and start playing with them. Learn to shuffle. It's really easy. So now that we have the deck organized, let's show you guys everything that's included. The Ampharos deck had 18 electric energies. So I'm curious, how many energies are going to be in this fighting type deck for Lucario? So that's 5 right there. We got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So whoever constructed these decks from the Pokemon Company was like, yo, 18, that's a good amount of energies for each of the decks. And honestly, that's way too much. That is just way too many energies. Bruh. Most Pokemon card decks use between, I'd say, 10 to 14 on average. I want to say the average deck has about 12 energies in it. It really just depends on the deck, but 18 is unheard of. It's a lot. So here's all the Pokemon in this set, or in this deck, and some of these are exclusively non-holo to this starter deck and the other starter deck as well. So first up, you're going to notice this Koraidon is usually a holo. This is from the base set Scarlet and Violet. It's a non-holo exclusive in the starter deck right here. It's a big, beefy, basic Pokemon with 130 HP. You got 2 attacks. We got Claw Slash for 3 colorless. It does 70. And then we got Rampaging Fang for 3 fighting and 1 colorless. It does 190, but then you got to discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. So a bit of work to set up the Koraidon, but that one-hit KO potential is pretty strong. So Koraidon's like a mini raid boss. Next up, we got Cyclizar. This card is also a holo rare exclusive, or holo rare from the base set Scarlet and Violet, but in this, they gave it a non-holo exclusive. The best feature about this card is that it has no retreat cost. It just allows you to pivot, so you have your Pokemon knocked out, and you don't know what you want to promote, then you can just put Cyclizar in the active and then retreat it on your turn when you want to commit to your actions that you're going to do. Next up, we got Lechonk. Lechonk is my favorite pick Pokemon next to Oinkologne, the evolved form, but we got 2 copies of Lechonk right here. It has the exact same attack as Cyclizar essentially, but it says draw 1 card instead of 2, and then you have the attack Tackle, which you're never going to use. If you're using it, you're doing something wrong. But Lechonk at 2 copies. We got Oinkologne at what? 2 copies. 2 copies of Oinkologne. You got Ram and you got a Leg Stomp. A very easy upgrade to this deck is you just get an Oinkologne EX and boom, this deck is like 100% better just by upgrading the Oinkologne to the EX form. It's not very expensive either. It's like $1.50 Canadian, $1 US. We got Ram and Leg Stomp. So Leg Stomp's going to be the main attack you're going to use. And it says 130 damage for 3 colorless. Flip a coin. If tails during your turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So that's really rough. That's unlucky if you hit tails. But if you hit heads, you can attack with it again. To reset that ability, you're going to want to use a card like Switch, so it leaves the active, and when a Pokemon leaves the active position, the Pokemon loses all of its negative effects to it. So if you were to use the item card Switch, and you switch into the Cyclizar, then you free retreat back into the Oinkologne, you can attack with Leg Stomp again, even if you hit tails on that previous turn. Guacabilly at not 1, but 3 copies. 3 copies of the Big Parrot. You have the attack Call for Family. This is the ideal Pokemon you're going to have if you have an opening hand. You want to put this one as the main one. So you can attack and search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Really great, so you can set up your board and get the exact Pokemon you want in play, so you can start evolving them. So maybe you want a Lechonk, maybe you want a Riolu. You can search them up and you're good to go. It has another attack called Fly for 2 colorless. It does 60 damage and it says flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. Yeah, but if you hit heads, it says prevent all damage and effects from attacks to this Pokemon from your opponent on their next turn. Next up, we got Meditite at 2 copies. Not the best, but you have 2 copies here to evolve and to Medicham, the main reason. So we got Acupunch. That's a great attack name. Acupuncher. That's a fantastic name. Shout out to the card creators for this one. 30 damage, 1 fighting energy. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon attacks. During your opponent's next turn, that Pokemon can't use that attack. So it is a attack denial attack. That is really good, especially if your opponent only has like 1 attack. Then they just can't attack you. Next up, we got Kick Shot. It does 90 damage. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. Bruh. That hurts to read. Alright, we got Mankey. So this is the other main evolutionary line in this deck. If you want to upgrade it and get the Infernape, not Infernape. If you want to get, you'll see in a second. The Mankey has a new evolved form. We got Mankey at 1 copy, 2 copy, 3 copies of Mankey. Primeape, we got 2 copies of Primeape right here, Raging Punch. But then we got Annihilate at 1 copy. It has the attack Rage Fist. This attack does 70 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken, so it's a great card to come back if you are getting beat up in earlier phases of the game. And then Dynamite Punch, 170 for 2 fighting, and it hurts itself for 50 damage. Now there is the Annihilate EX card as well from Paldea Evolve. You can buy that card and upgrade this deck pretty easily, and there's an Annihilate EX box coming up pretty soon. I think that's on my birthday. Next up, we got Riolu. Add 3 copies of Riolu. Not the greatest, but it's here because Lucario EX is in this deck, here to save the day, and it's pretty decent, but not amazing. And we talked about Lucario earlier, so we don't need to get into too much detail about Lucario. Next up, we got Jacques. It's a supporter that allows you to search for 2 evolution Pokemon in your deck and add them to your hand. So whether you want a Primeape, Annihilate, Lucario, any of those, Medicham, Jacques is here to save the day. 1 copy of Jacques. Next up, we got Nemona, your generic draw 3 supporter at 4 copies. We got Youngster, your shuffle your hand and draw 5 card supporter. You got 4 copies of that. We got Ultra Ball, one of the best cards in the game. Discard 2 cards from your hand to grab a Pokemon from your deck and add it to your hand. Goated card. You'll want to use this in other decks outside of Lucario as well. Same with Nest Ball. 2 copies of Nest Ball is huge. You just grab a Pokemon, put it onto your bench. Fantastic card. Has to be a basic though. 2 copies of Switch. 1 copy of Pokegear. 2 copies of Energy Retrieval. Solid if you have attacks like this deck does have with Koraidon, where you have to discard energy. This will bring those energies back into your hand. And I got 2 copies of Potion. That's the deck. Comment your top 2 or 3 favorite fighting Pokemon for a chance at the code to win this deck online. And click on screen to watch the Ampro starter deck or an upgraded deck list for this particular deck. I'll catch you guys in an upcoming video or one of the ones I just mentioned. Peace out.